Alright, good morning, this is the health committee meeting. It is December 5th at 9 a.m. If you take roll, please.
Geiger,
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Whitlow.
No.
Awful.
Yes. Okay, I have a motion to accept the agenda,
Make that motion.
and then, is there any discussion on that? All in favor, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed? All right, have you seen the, claims? Okay, can I have a, you can
I
have,
got it. Joe, we had two, bills from Angel Pest Control. Is it something like a monthly deal and one's something annually or semi-annually?
Yeah, so the one is our regular, the $80 is the regular spray,
Yeah.
and then the $139 is a preventative, biannual flea
Right.
spray.
No problem, thank you.
Yep, no problem.
I'll make a motion, we accept the thing.
second.
Second.
All right, take the roll, please.
Geiger,
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Awful.
Yes. Okay, motion passed. Any public comments? No public? All right, we are now going to do animal control with Jill.
Okay, so we had a total deposit of $5,190. Currently have 8 cases open. I have 8 cats and 5 dogs that we're trying to get placed. The officers closed 25 cases last month. We had 10 dogs running loose, 2 bite reports, 3 well checks, 5 cat or dog hit by car. We had a house fire with 2 deceased dogs. We had 1 nuisance dog. Ironically, it chased the mailman.
Oh, yeah.
1 dump dog. We did have a bat that came back as negative, and then we did have to take possession of a dog. Their owner was deceased. But that dog has been claimed by a different family member, so that's all right.
That it then?
That's it.
All right, we have.
Oh, I'm sorry, and also I wanted to, I got Linda Rivard and Jacob Williams into humane investigator licensure class. They have to take that every 3 years. Well, they should be taking it every 3 years. I started doing it when I got gifted this position. They were due this year. They both have went to class in Des Plaines, and they both have taken their tests and are waiting to hear the results, so.
Very good. Okay. We're gonna discuss the $25 public safety fine for a biting animal, which is in part of our code manual. Can you give us some information on that, Joe?
The $25 public safety fine, part of the Illinois Animal Control Act, we can apprehend and impound those animals and charge a $25 public safety fine. However, it can be waived or refunded if it is a first offense. And what I'm finding is most of the people that are attempting to get their animal back from us either don't have any money or they don't have the full amount of money. So I've been making the judgment calls because it costs us more to hold the animals and try to get the animal placed than to take some sort of payment from an owner. So in several cases, we have been waiving those if it's a first time offense, just so we can get the animals out of our care and get them back in the owner's care. Even at a discounted rate, I figure something is better than costing us more money, so.
Well, in PNP, we had discussed maybe raising that price. So
You can
now that
raise it,
you've
but
said that, I don't know. if-
There's not very many people that are gonna pay it, and then I have to weigh the option of, okay, do we hold on to their animal? Because if we hold on to their animal, that's gonna cost the county more, and really right now, especially right now, I have nowhere for any of these animals to go.
What about our members here? You guys wanna discuss this about the $50? I, for one, am not for it.
Well, I guess part of it is the situation with what type of dog is doing the biting and then where the dog's at. Is it the owner screwing up
It
And,
depends, it's case by case.
yeah,
To give you an idea, the two, let me look here. The two that we had, one was somebody was watching her daughter's dog, and her daughter's dog and her dog, started barking at each other, and the lady got involved and got bit.
sure.
The other one we had this month, the dog was enclosed in its backyard fence, and a teenager went into the backyard fence and started trying to pet the dog and see the dog, so that's considered a provoked bite as well. So it just kind of depends on the situation, if it's provoked or unprovoked.
Couldn't we say up to a certain amount instead of saying the amount?
You
Exactly.
could, but I would also wanna check with statute and see if there's something that's in statute that specifically says it has to be that amount. Because I know that the $25 is part of the Illinois Animal Control
If
Act,
we made it a
so.
little higher and then we said up to a certain amount higher and everybody's in agreement with that and it met the code, that'd give us some flexibility as far as the individuality of the cases, the types of dogs, et cetera.
The other thing, that makes it tough on her, cause she's gonna be the
Yeah.
one saying that, I'd go along with $50, and she uses good judgment.
Yeah, I see which we
I
both
appreciate
do
the
it.
woman getting bit in the middle of the dog fight, but, you know, that happens.
It does, it happens, and
But I'm worried about the innocent person that didn't expect to get bit going down the sidewalk and minding their own business, and some
mhm.
monster came out there and took off their thumb. So I'm in favor of raising that to $50.
Could say up to that or just.
No.
Again,
you just
you
wanna
might wanna check with Jim Devine, because
Okay,
there's a
'cause
lot
I-
of statutory limitations on animal control, so
But $50 would work if we said $50 fine with you using
that's
judgment like
that's up
you
to
have.
you guys, yeah. Like I said, I've been using my judgment because I figure some money's better than none, and we can't hold on to these animals and I can't place them.
Do you know the state statute?
Is there a state statute on how much money, or do you know?
That's what I said, you have to check with Jim, 'cause I don't know.
I would
I'm
prefer
not a
that to
lawyer,
Jim
but-
find out.
Sure.
I would just double check with him before you decide if you're gonna raise it.
Why kick it down the road? Why don't we go ahead and do $50 contingent on it being okay with the state's attorney, and that way it's done,
As
provided.
long as it matches state, go ahead.
John,
It's something that is a part of the county code book,
Uh-huh.
and there's other things in there under animal control that we need to talk to Jim Devine about as well, so.
Okay.
I would prefer just to keep it all within that same context, that way kick it all done at once.
I only saw the one thing on the agenda, so no problem. Yeah. Okay.
all right, any more questions for Jill on that point?
Are we gonna do anything?
No, cause he wants to wrap it into a bigger thing.
next month.
If we agree that $50 is the number we'd like it to be, Amanda's got a note on that, and we'll include that with the
So you don't need us
things that we're
to,
gonna talk to Jim Devine about for that.
So it's like to find out what the statute is, right?
and we don't need to do anything about
I'll
it.
take action later on.
Sounds like we don't need to do anything, correct? You guys can do it at your level, right? I guess they're just asking for opinions.
Okay, next one on the bullet point is discuss the count flooring. Now, for the code manual, it said cement, or what was the other word? Impervious
Surface.
flooring, surface? Somebody wanna explain what that impervious is?
Water can't
Not
go
better
through it.
at all.
Yeah, just non-porous.
We were wanting to see how you all felt about just putting it in the manual, it's concrete, nothing else.
Well, I guess one thing is the kennel's in the city. So do we really have any, we can't step over what the city says.
I think what they're talking about though is kennel licensure per the county code book that they're discussing, it's not specifically.
Oh, it's not our kennel, okay.
Right,
No,
right.
Oh. If you Google kennel flooring, one of the top ones is pea gravel.
Mhm.
So I mean,
But that's not impervious.
gravel, you said?
but why do you, I mean, the
Gravel.
stuff goes down on the ground and that, where does it go when you scoop it up and, yeah, I don't know. Seems like it's a big expense to put in concrete.
Well, you gotta also consider the cleanup and, how comfortable it is for the animal. You know, I don't think gravel would be too comfortable.
Time constraints and the person doing it clean too.
Why not use impervious? Cause I mean, you could, there might be other materials out there that we haven't thought of that would satisfy that. You got composites nowadays and, you know,
So do you guys wanna just leave that alone?
Yeah.
That part?
Sure.
Okay, we'll just leave that part alone. And now, I have a question, it's not on here, but I have a question about the fencing for our kennel. Can you update us what's going on with that?
The management committee is taking on that responsibility and they have, I talked to Lyle a little bit yesterday. And they're going to have it rejulied, the area rejulied, and Chris was going to mark it again for potential bidders.
Thank you. All right, Mr. CC with the Iroquois County Public Health. Thank you, Joe.
Okay, well, you got two things today. Let's go over the thing you recognize first. Program summary report. This will be, the next one you receive next month will be a lot clearer, because we'll be in a new fiscal year, or new calendar year, I should say. So, also of note on this one is the totals on the far right for fiscal year 23. You compare that with the totals on the far left for fiscal year 22 and 21. Starting with page 1, environmental. We had a normal amount of inspections. We had 3 boil orders, one was in Shabans, 2 of them were in Wellington. All have been since been rectified. There was 1 food complaint. A local restaurant owner complained about an individual that was selling food out of their home, dinners out of their home, advertising on Facebook. And that is definitely illegal. They weren't just operating underneath a cottage food license, they were making potentially hazardous foods out of their home. We have had to send them a letter. This happened just late last week, so no further action on that yet. Let's see. Going down, trying to point out anything of note. Zeros in the West Nile bracket, that ended in October. We'll pick that back up in the spring. And that's really all that stands out on page 1, unless anybody has any questions. Immunizations, we've been doing a lot of COVID flu shots, obviously. We do have Moderna and Pfizer now. We were able to get our hands on a little bit of Pfizer. Before we were not able to. We have Moderna and Pfizer for people that are 12 years old and above, and we have Moderna for individuals that are under 12 years old. So we have both of those in stock. We also updated all of our vaccine fees as of December 1st. They hadn't been updated in about 9 years, so it was just time to change them. 11 of them we dropped down in price. 14 of them we increased in price. At the end of the day, the health department's not here to make money, we just need to break even. So we just need to adjust for what we're paying for all of our vaccines. So vaccines are still available and you should come get them. We have had an increase in reports of respiratory illnesses, some that are reported from communicable diseases that you see here, some that are not. So holidays are upon us, so if you haven't got your flu shot or your COVID shots, come on down. 2 animal bites, none of those animals needed to go for testing, they're quarantined, and no PEP treatment is needed. See an increase in COVID-19 cases. This does not cover at-home tests. This is just people that are going and getting tests at their providers or at a hospital or a clinic. So take that number and increase it a lot. So, but we're at 130 and last month we were at 36. So definitely an increase. And hospital admissions have increased for Iroquois and most of the surrounding counties. Vermilion County it has not, but Ford, Champaign, and Kankakee, COVID-19 hospital admissions, and Iroquois, COVID-19 hospital admissions have increased. It's not altogether surprising. This is kind of the season where respiratory illnesses thrive, but it is of concern. We've had 2 COVID-19 outbreaks. They're both at congregate living centers within Iroquois County. Let's see. Moving on down the line. The two hepatitis C investigations, both of those turned out not to be a case. The histoplasmosis was also not a case, just an investigation. And the Lyme disease was also just an investigation, not a case, not a confirmed case. The Salmonella and Shiga toxin E. coli, 2 and 1 respectively, those were confirmed cases, but the sources were not able to be tracked. These are foodborne illnesses, both of them. Undercooked foods or food that is prepped with unwashed hands. So it's very difficult to track where that's coming from. Any questions on this page? All right. Moving to page 3. Nothing new in TB. We do still have a patient that has latent TB on medication. That's been reoccurring for months now. Gave out a bunch of Narcan to the Sheriff's Department. We did 1 flu clinic at the Scylla in Cissna Park. Our numbers for the Illinois Breast and Cervical Cancer Program are up a little bit. This is pass-through money that we receive through the state. We're able to get underinsured or uninsured individuals testing done for breast and cervical cancers. And 1 individual did come back positive, so valuable program. Nothing else really terribly of note. Jail numbers are down. We all know why that is. They continue to stay down. Unless you've got any questions, move on to the last page. Alrighty then. Questions behind me, right? Alright. Vision and hearing screens. We started getting back in this to August, really hit it hard in September and October, and in November we're back at it. Numbers are a little lower in November usually compared to September, October because school is out of session for a little bit. So this is where we send a vision and hearing technician into the schools to give those kids those vision and hearing tests. We have the equipment, we send them in, we do tests, sometimes we have to do them twice, and so on and so forth. And if there is an issue, then parents know and can start following up on it with their primary care providers.
Do you do all grade levels or just?
Just the kids, just the littles. I can't remember exactly what age we stopped, but
okay,
it's only
just
for small children.
Like 1 age bracket, you're
Yeah.
saying? Okay.
So no, not all littles.
Okay.
Yeah, the screening is pretty good because years ago when my daughter was 3, they found a lazy eye and her vision was bad, so she had to wear glasses. But it was good that they found it.
How many schools you go to?
All. Every public school and every private school.
And everybody got
Fair, yes. Good clarification.
I can call you Santa Claus there for a minute.
Yeah, it's got-
One night, that's all it takes. Got a sleigh just for the occasion. So I expect December numbers will also reflect largely like November's, it's usual, and then we usually wrap this up in March or April. Senior services, numbers are still up. We have, I drew too much in my paper. 93 annual needs-based reassessments. No, 33.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, see, I drew on mine. 10 new client assessments. Those numbers have been up for the past number of months. You see back in July, it was 7, previously it was 0. And then since then, 9, 15, 9, 10. Usually we see an increase around November, and that increase started just early this year. So a lot of new client assessments, a lot of people getting referred. You see our total clients on services is 192, which is still the same from last month, but that's the highest it was all year. So our senior services professionals are busy. That's my program summary report. Unless you have any questions on this. Okay, the other thicker thing. This is our annual report. Health departments are required to develop and publish an annual report. I am asking for approval on this. It's been to the Board of Health. The Board of Health has approved it. I'm asking for the county board to take a look and put your seal of approval on it before I submit it to the state for verification. In brief, it's an overview of our services. It goes over our departments, what services they offer, and then the numbers associated with such. How many inspections, how many shots, the staff that were employed during fiscal year 22, so on and so forth. It's basically something that, and it gets posted on the website after all seals of approval are given. It's basically what the public can access to see what the health department is and what it does at a glance. And it shows the work that we do in terms of numerical values. So I give you guys a couple minutes to look at this, and I'd be happy to entertain any questions. Just in case you had a question. Want to keep you in my line of sight.
I don't have a gun.
Lead screening seems like there's a lot of them reported on your report, but they don't show up on our.
Good question. See, what page in the annual report are you looking at?
15.
15. We have two different kinds of lead. There's lead screenings, and that's done by community health. So that's our nursing staff that something comes in or there's a lead test done, or just children that test high in lead, and then the nursing follows up with that. And then there is what environmental does, and there are different brackets there are different regulations on when our nursing staff gets involved and when our environmental health staff gets involved. On page 1 of the program summary report, that reviews just the environmental portion, and that's when somebody like me, a licensed lead risk assessor, goes into the home to find lead. If during lead screening, it is known, and the reasons why this is 56 as opposed to a much lower number, is because sometimes, and I've seen this over the past number of years, lead screening comes in because the individual now lives in Iroquois County. When they did the blood test, they lived somewhere else. And then immediately moved. Because they weren't living in a very good house, which usually results in lead exposure. So we've had a number of those happen over the past few years.
What's the number one reason for lead intake? I assume it's for kids.
Yep.
Is it still paint even to this day, or?
It is most often deteriorating lead-based paint.
That's fine.
In the news, it's, especially since Flint, Michigan, everyone thinks it's their water. And water could be the source of exposure, and we are prepared to test for that. But more often than not, it is deteriorating lead-based paint in a home.
I heard that if you run your faucet for like a minute or two, it takes that away.
It really depends. And you're right. Whenever you're doing water testing of any time, depending on what you're kind of testing, that could be a factor, which is why when we do test a water source for lead, I'll actually go out early, I'll work with the family and say, okay, nobody flushed the toilets during the night. You know, when do you guys wake up? Well, we usually get going around 6. Okay, I'll show up at 6, take a water sample before you even start using the water. The reason being, the water sits in the pipes all night in their home. And that's when lead in higher amounts can leach into the water. If there is lead in the pipes or in the connection to the pipes, which is more often where it is. So yes, that is true. And we try to make sure that we can capture that by showing up early in the home.
So does it come from the city, the water tank?
Most often, no, although that definitely can happen.
So it's at the pipes in the home.
Usually, that's what we test for, yeah. Municipal water supplies have to do their own testing and report to the Illinois EPA about that. And it's happened occasionally here and there where lead levels are a little high, or other heavy metal levels are a little high for different municipalities within Iroquois County. We do receive those reports after testing is done and it's confirmed by the Illinois EPA. But what we're testing is for in-home.
There's not much lead pipes left in homes anymore, is there?
No, usually if there is lead in a water source or home, it's from an old connection.
Right.
Not necessarily a lead pipe, but from a lead soldering that was done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
More question?
When will 23 be out?
23 will be out next year. This is obviously like the last minute to get this out. We got it approved at our last Board of Health meeting. But I have a goal of getting it out a few months earlier next year.
So can we invite a motion to accept this? Second? Do we, roll call? Ducat?
Yeah.
Geiger?
Yes.
Hughes?
Yes.
Whitlow?
Yes.
Walpole? Yes. All right, is that it, Eric?
That's all I got unless there's got any questions for me.
White lung,
White pneumonia.
any cases yet?
It's not a reportable communicable disease, so I do not and I will not be able to get you an accurate number about that. That I mentioned earlier in my report today that respiratory illnesses have been on the rise. Some of them communicable diseases that get reported, some of them are not reportable. So that's one of those that's not reportable to us. But I have been hearing of increased cases, yes.
How can we keep track of that in our county to know what's going on?
It's set by the state of what diseases are mandated to be reported. It's not something I have the authority of. What we try to do is we basically keep our ear to the ground about what clinics are seeing an increase in admissions for respiratory illnesses. There are some new tests available that we're able to send out to long-term care facilities or other congregate living centers that can test for 3 different respiratory illnesses, COVID, flu, and RSV at the same time. But you will never be able to capture all respiratory illnesses, including emergent ones like this new white lung. So, in short, there's not much that I can do in terms of getting accurate numbers to you because it's out of my hands. But we are paying attention to it and we're concerned.
So they're gonna hide it like COVID, and then when it finally gets a good big enough outbreak, then we'll know about it.
Well, I don't know about that, but
It's expected to go like that, that's why I'm watching all the numbers.
Mhm.
I mean, you saw what it did in the other country.
Mhm.
It's obviously gonna come over here.
Mhm.
I mean, it's the same thing as what COVID did.
very well could be. In terms of emergency respiratory illnesses, it's one of the worst fears of the health department. COVID-19 was one of the worst fears of a health department. We always thought it would be an influenza and it turned out to be a SARS virus. But it's still a respiratory illness, and then if they're emergent, how do you test for them? Similar to this new, Ms. Johnson, you're probably aware of the new virus in dogs. There's no test for it.
Yeah. I know what that for the dogs too.
There's no test for it, so you can't figure out what exactly is wrong with the dog because you don't know what you're testing for. So emergent respiratory illnesses are a worst fear of a health department and paying close attention, but we don't have numbers and I don't know if we'll ever get exact numbers for the specific white lung.
I apologize for interrupting you. With your dogs, what it does is they start like just like a human. Actually, there's actually been tests done that they're actually, per the weight, they're using what, we would get to, curve that and try to cure it. Good timing. And, that's actually been working so far. So with this white lung, they're being very quiet about it. It makes me a little nervous.
Yeah, nervous too. Hear you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, do we have any old business before us? Any new business? All right, may I have a motion to adjourn this meeting? Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Oh, wait a minute, just a minute. I'm gonna pass this Abra, or whatever you call it. You guys can look at it.